I first got involved in 2008 with the Rotary Club, just doing the arrows and the marshalling, and I slowly started organising all of the arrows and the marshalling for the Rotary Club. And then in 2011, Paul didn't run the event. By then it had grown quite a lot. He'd been doing the whole thing by himself. It was a monumental sort of effort. And he asked us if we'd be interested in really taking it over and running with it from there. So we did. We formed a committee. We have about 30 people on the committee. And 2012 was the first year that we actually ran it as a Rotary project. And we do it in partnership with Salisbury Rotary. So we have Winchester Rotary and Salisbury Rotary, which is the two ends of the actual route.
The route is divided into 6 sections. We start off in Salisbury, and I have a section leader there, Andy Williams, who is a member of Salisbury Rotary.
Preparations that I have to do is firstly gather some marshals together. But I'm quite fortunate because I've got a lot of people who've been doing it over the last few years.
We then have another section which takes us along the route, and we have a Winchester Rotarian in charge of that, Simon Salter, a new Rotarian. And then the third section takes us through into Broughton. We have Mark Witt, who's a very experienced section leader, has done it a number of times before. And then from Broughton onwards, we have our President-elect, Les Haswell, who is doing that section, which runs from Broughton to Kingsonbourne. Then we have Keith Myers from Kingsonbourne to Farley Mount. And finishing up, we have John Macaulay, who takes us through into King's School. These people are in charge of recruiting marshals, positioning them, putting out signs, and generally looking after their section of the route, both on the day before and on the day itself.
I help organise the bike section, which involves riding back in front of the ride to clear the way, keep the horses out of the way, tell the marshals that we're coming along, and also just to lead the lead runners in the right way. The Clarendon's quite a twisty, turny sort of run, and we don't want anyone disappearing up the wrong hill. So I start off with some friends and we lead them on their merry way back to Winchester. And then we've got some friends at the back, slightly slower cyclists who pick up the litter, any dropped gel wrappers, and then just generally care for people at the back of the pack and making sure everyone gets back to Winchester in one piece. And one of the main reasons I joined the Rotary actually was to be involved with the Clarendon. It's a great bunch of people, and the fact that the whole of the marathon is organised by people giving up their time for free makes it a fantastic organisation, and I think the popularity with the runners just makes it a really rewarding thing to be involved with.
I found my niche, I think, because I think initially we weren't too sure what my role was going to be, and then so I started off with doing interviews with the runners to get runner stories together for our mail shots, and now I've moved on also to running the Twitter account, and I think the more I do, the more things I find that I can do. So it's been a really nice process of working out what's a good fit for me.
My role with the Clarendon, as I've been recently, is to marshal a stage of the Clarendon, get the marshals together, set it up on the day, encourage the runners as much as possible.
My job is to organise the 14 welcome and watering stations along the way, which are all run by local charities and voluntary groups.
So I stand at the 5 mile to go marker, handing out jelly beans, taking as many photographs as I can. That's what I've done for the last 4 or 5 years.
On the day, we get about 1,000 runners. We have about 250 volunteers who help out doing a wide range of things.
My role here is to coordinate at Salisbury to make sure all the starters have got all the relevant information, race numbers, etc. They're briefed and they're on their way in plenty of time to the start.
My interest for the last 5 or 6 years has been bringing together a programme which lists all the runners, has a lot of articles about Rotary and all our activities. Here's a copy of this year's programme. As I say, it contains interesting articles about runners who are raising money for various charities.
Today we are doing the timing and the technicalities involved with that. So setting the people off here in Salisbury and in Broughton, and then checking them back in again in Winchester. we were here nice and early this morning to get that sorted. For those awkward walkers, who need to go off early and get us all out of bed a little bit sooner. And I said the biggest challenge is getting the prize winners across in amongst the things.
Well, my role is primarily to support JJ, who does an amazing job bringing all of today together. I deal with all the registration, and I guess my biggest challenge there is when somebody registers and I try and match the payment, and the payment name is not the same as the person who's registered, so that can be quite challenging, just trying to match up the registrations with the payment, but we tend to get there in the end.
I'm checking in the people as they come through and hand them their numbers and their black sacks.
The other thing we do is we involve a lot of charities, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to organise an event which is going to be great fun for everybody, but also we want to raise a bit of money for charities. And there's 3 different ways that we raise money for charities. One is that on the day we actually involve a lot of charities, and in particular the water stations or welcome stations, where we have water and food for the runners as they come through.
Many of them are doing it because they do it every year. Some are replacing others which have had to drop out. They do it because they're very interested in taking part in something that raises money for a lot of good causes, and they can also raise the profile of their own charities by doing so. And if the marathon turns in a profit, they get a little bit of a share of the surplus.
Now, the other thing we do is we allow the runners to actually raise money themselves. So if a runner wants to raise money for a particular charity, they can actually go for sponsorship. They can get all their friends to sponsor them, and all the money that they raise, they can then pay into their charity. They don't pay anything of that to us.
I like to do things like this for Help for Heroes. I think nowadays, unfortunately, fortunately there's no conflict, so the support for some of our troops goes down. So I like to raise a bit of awareness, and this is my way of doing my bit.
Yeah, so we're running in memory of my son George, who passed away last year, shortly after he was born. So we're running in memory of George, raising money for Winchester Pregnancy Crisis Centre, who's a little charity in Winchester who offer free counselling, free support to people who go through that stuff. Last year the Run for George team ran, and we raised over £12,000 for a charity called 4 Louis. This is our second event this year.
Today is my 5th of a 5 for 50 challenge that I challenged myself in May to run for Connor, who has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So I challenged myself to 5 marathons, and today's the last one. And it's a real emotional day because that was an amazing event.
I run to raise awareness and funds for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, specifically for a little boy called Ben. Ben is 11, she just turned 11, and has Duchenne, which is a muscle wasting disease. It is incurable, so there is no cure for it. So the money that I raise is to help with adaptations to the house, things that will make life easier for Ben and his family, the nicer things and the extra things that the NHS aren't able to fund because they don't have an endless budget.
With Gift Aid, I've raised just under £4,000, so really good. 90% of it goes to research, so really, I'm really proud. And I'm really proud of JJ and Vicky because they really raised the profile of Duchenne. It's an unknown illness for little boys, but we're getting out there, so amazing event, an amazing day for me.
Our volunteer Sarah Cragg, who is also a Winchester Rotarian as well as being a volunteer with Winchester Radio, our charity. Her brother Matt, who loves running marathons and does park run every week in his local town, he's kindly raising money for our charity Winchester Radio, because from next year we'll be doing community radio across the city for older people. So we really appreciate that he's given his time to run.
Hopefully, at the end of the day, we make a surplus rather than a loss, and that goes into the general Rotary charity fund, and then that is distributed further on to other charities, which could be anything, local charities, overseas charities. There's a committee which looks at individual cases and makes decisions, and the money's piled out that way. When it comes to the actual day, the interesting thing about an event like this is everything has to be in place. We have to have 500 arrows all in place and all pointing the right way. If we have one arrow pointing the wrong way, we are going to have a serious problem.
Today is Saturday. This is the day before the Clarendon Marathon, and we are one of the teams setting up various signs. We have about 6 teams like this. We're setting up about 500 signs along the 26 miles of the course. So we've got lots of arrows and posts and various other bits and pieces, staple guns. This is a highly technical bit of engineering, but the key thing is we've got to make sure that everything's all in place before 10:30 tomorrow morning, and then we also have to go around and clean it all up afterwards so that it's all back to normal afterwards.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rebecca. Happy birthday to you.
Morning. Hello.
Now what do we all need to say to the marshals as we go past them? Thank you, Marshal. Can we all say thank you, Marshal? Thank you, Marshal.
The Clarendon Marathon is one of my favourites because it's a different marathon. It's off-road, it's quite hilly, quite hard, very tough. But the difference is that because you're watching your feet where you're putting them all the time, the distance somehow doesn't seem to be quite as bad. It's the hills and the mud quite often that are the tricky bits of the Clarendon.
My mum's a cow. What did you say that?
How did that come about?
Because she's a cow.
It's her idea.
I just thought because today I've got a calf injury, excuse the pun, but I wanted to take it a bit slower and to make sure I don't go off too fast and hurt myself. I thought, well, let's dress up and have a bit of fun and entertain people as we go along and blend in with the countryside.
It's really scenic, really nice, really friendly people. From the staff to the fellow runners. Like when I ran it in 2014, I had people cheering me on, particularly in the last 6 miles when I was struggling to keep going. People were very supportive, shouting my number out and cheering me on. I wouldn't have run in Uganda if I hadn't run the Clarendon in 2014.
We did it last year and the year before as a relay team.
I think we were fifth last year.
We did all right.
We did all right. Yeah. not too bad.
Not too bad. The logistics of getting everybody in the right place aren't too bad. It's
part of the fun, actually, isn't it? It's sort of getting the cars to the right place and the car keys handed over and that sort of thing.
Not forgetting to hand over the car keys. Rob did a spreadsheet and a diagram for us the first year we did it all to make sure that we were all in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, we've got little pictures in cars on the spreadsheet.
We haven't marked it up yet.
Yeah.
One of the things about this event is you've got people doing relays, you've got people doing the full marathon, you've got people doing the short run. So whenever anyone overtakes me, I tell myself that's because they're doing the short run or they're doing the relay. If I ever overtake anyone, I tell myself I'm doing really well.
I just run for the sake of it. I love it and enjoy it. And this is about my 13th or 14th Clarendon Way. I've done 695. Today will be 696. I struggle on cross country because I'm only partially sighted, and I struggle with the routes and all this sort of stuff. But I keep turning up, as I say.
Oh, I can't even give high fives! Imagine every...
Always have a drink.
We just run in a dog team. We compete in dog events over the winter series, so this is sort of preparation training, keeping us fit throughout the year. Just everything to do with the dogs, really.
So you're a relay team?
Yeah, relay team. So we've got a mix of different ginger breeds, red setters, we've got a Cocker Spaniel cross, Huskies, and then Podencos, which are Spanish Rescues. So this time of year it's a bit too warm still, so we're more sort of pacing to the dog. In the winter series, when they're really on form, it's sort of 5-6 minute miling at the dog's pace, and then you've just got to keep up.
Well, I think over the last couple of years I've been asked by the group to do the Clarendon. Always found a few excuses because it seemed like quite a challenge with the hills. But this year in particular I think we have 7 teams and I really wanted to be part of that. I've chosen the fourth leg. I understand it's a little shorter and a little less hilly, and with it being my first one I thought that would be a good one to pick. But also I did like the idea of being the one to cross the line at the end.
Well, this is the first time I've ever been involved in any marathon. So I've done halves before and 10Ks, 10 miles, but not a full marathon. So I think the hills and the mud for me.
Penny, having organised, has decided that she ought to take the longest one and the hilliest one, so we didn't complain too much.
I'm looking forward to just the different scenery. I've done South Downs Marathon a couple of times, so I'll be comparing this to that.
And it's good to get a break from the family, I'll be honest. Nice to have a few hours away from the kids.
We're looking forward to the challenge today, really. I mean, it's going to be different to last year. We're always up for a challenge, ex-servicemen, and us being all veterans now, so we're looking forward to it.
You're doing the hard work, we're just relaxing. Well done.
One of the things I was keen to do this year was get through Broughton before the half marathoners. So by the time I got to Farley Mount and the big hills, quite a few of the fast guys were by me, which was good because they weren't coming up behind me. But equally, I didn't have the slower people holding me up, so I think that worked quite well.
This will be my first year doing the half marathon, and I'm interested in it mainly because lots of people I know are doing it in various ways, including lots of worthy runners here. We're doing the relay, and I fancy the challenge of a half marathon.
Brilliant, guys. And a minute here saves you minutes on the route.
10, 15 minutes, or maybe even longer.
Fab.
If you like this at the end, that's going to take you ages.
Yeah.
You can keep running the whole way.
Impressive. You're the only people we've seen do that. Well done. Oh look, you're gathering.
Where are the flapjacks, JJ? Yeah, the flapjacks, they're all out there, but we might be missing a few arrows because we've just noticed a few missing. We don't know what happened to them.
Well, I heartily recommend this marathon, half marathon, just for the flapjacks.
Excellent.
And it's a social run.
Yep, yep.
You make friends. You make good friends if you get talking to people. Excellent.
Tracy?
Oh, we did it last year with Harry Belanga and Charlie Belanga and my husband Dave, and we loved it. Absolutely loved it. So we've come back for more, all the way from home from Worthing.
Yeah. How did you get onto it then?
Just found out through a friend, so
very good.
Go and enjoy it.
I hope you don't become an ex-friend afterwards.
So we did it a couple of years ago, but I ran off and left him.
Yeah.
And I'm back for forgiveness this year, so we're going to run together.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What do you think so far?
Oh, it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Have you done this before?
I've done the half and half round before, but it was brought to Salisbury.
All right, yeah.
Maybe this is a bit easier.
Oh, that's probably a long time ago, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we get bunged up here, and then once we get into the field, it splits out. Say again?
Less hilly this half?
No, there's more hilly this half.
Really?
Yeah, no, this half's definitely more hilly.
Genius, more hilly.
What do you enjoy about the Clarendon? It's an interview on the move.
Catching up,
Catching
catching up. The scenery.
The end.
The end of the mud. The organisation.
Organisation, love it, love it. Come back again.
Definitely.
This is my 7th, yeah?
7th.
And 2010.
Yeah, yeah.
It was biblical.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That's when I vowed I needed to get some trail shoes.
Yeah, that was when it was really muddy.
Right, I'm not going to run with you because you're too fast.
Okay, we have an interview on the run. What would you like to say about the Clarendon?
I love it.
You love it, good.
I love it, yeah.
How many have you done before?
I've run this route a million times.
Oh, right.
Training.
Very good.
Actually, the first time I haven't done the relay.
Oh, well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done, everybody. You having a good time?
I'm having a great time, Jake.
Good, love it. Right, I've got to get some shots from coming across. Hi there. Whoop. That's it, everybody. Well done. Winchester this way. Doing well. How's it going?
Great, we're loving it.
You both enjoying it, Mary?
Yeah. Well organised.
You're enjoying walking rather than running? Very good.
Doing a steady pace.
Steady pace, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Right, Winchester off that way then.
Okay.
Bye bye. Here we go, what do you think so far? Enjoying it. Are you glad you're not running?
Yeah.
Next year. Next year. You'll love it next year.
Enjoy it.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's an interview on the run.
Yeah.
Here we go. Thank you.
Lovely downhill section.
Good.
The hardest part of the Clarendon Marathon is really about 3/4 of the way in, and it's a section from about King Somborn up to Farley Mount, and that's quite a long, unrelenting hill, and you're feeling quite tired then. It's probably about 18, 19 miles at the start of it, and that's quite tough.
Those hills, I felt the need to walk up the hills, but then practically everyone was. Just a few hardcore people were running it all the way up the hills.
I've done the relay 2 years in a row. I've done the 3rd section, the 4th section. I wanted to do the first 2 bits. So I thought I'd do the whole lot.
Well done, everybody. Go, go, go. Actually, this is the bit where you can walk because most people are walking.
I did the last 5-mile walk, or hobble as it was, because I was still on crutches then. And it was so good fun, and everybody was really nice. Even though I was on crutches, they ran round me and they were clapping me and saying, well done, and you having a go.
Last year I ran the 5 miles and I had a great time, and I got there. It was actually the first event I'd ever done in my life.
Once people reach the end at King's School, we try and make a little village affair where it's a place where spectators can congregate, runners can congregate. We've usually got a stand selling hamburgers and things like that. We hand out the t-shirts, the medals, the prizes for the people who have been super fast, obviously. We have lots of little prizes these days.
So the Scouts today are helping at the Clarendon Marathon. We've been doing it for a number of years now, and we've been helping do the medals and handing out the blankets, and they're really enjoying themselves. It helps towards their community service badge, and also it helps raise funds for our Scout group as well, which is really important.
Atmosphere here, and it's always so much fun, and we get so many regular runners that come and support this Rotary event year after year, so it really means a lot to people. I think people feel it's a very special race to Clarendon, and they love the support from the marshals and all the charities who do the welcome stations along the route. And from the radio's point of view, it's just been great fun, to be honest. We've been involved since 2012 when Rotary first took over the event, and we've been doing all the commentary for the last few years, so since 2013.
We've supported the Clarendon Marathon since it started. We provide 3 vehicles on the course, 1 road ambulance, 1 4x4 ambulance and a support vehicle, which is just behind us here. And they're crewed up to deal with any incidents on the course, and the road ambulance would then pick up any casualties and take them off. And then we meet at the finish where we deal with anything that comes along.
I'm a volunteer for Winchester Young Carers Project. The project supports young people who are carers for members of their family, be it parents, siblings, grandparents. We provide clubs for them to go to. We provide individual support and one-to-one befriending. This is the 2nd year running that we've helped man the welcome home for the runners at the Clarendon Marathon. The Rotary kindly give us a donation for doing so, and we thoroughly enjoy it, and we hope that it promotes our profile really in terms of the young carers.
Shelter Box is a disaster relief charity. It's been going for the best part of 20 years. It was invented, if that's the right word, by a Rotarian in Helston in Cornwall, and our headquarters is now at Truro in Cornwall, just up the road. We send boxes like that all over the world and each box contains a tent and a selection of stuff like that for immediate survival. We're not interested in long-term survival, emergency. So shelter and safe water with a water purification system. Everything else can wait, everything else is secondary to shelter and safe water.
HMS Queen Elizabeth say this is the inaugural run out for the HMS Queen Elizabeth Running Club running vests. So it's the first time they've been seen out in a public event. I'm very proud to be wearing it. So I'm one of the officers from the ship, and I've run the event today with one of my colleagues. So the ship's alongside in our home port of Portsmouth for the next few weeks, and then we're back out to do the next phase of sea trials.
We ran for Winchester, but our team today was blood, sweat and beers, and we won the women's relay team.
You won it?
Yeah, we did.
You must be feeling really shocked.
Yeah, really pleased.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. I did an hour and 38 minutes. So, yeah, it's my half marathon. Yeah, for half marathon. Yeah, it's my second time doing it. I did last year.
Yeah, we're brothers. I mean, he's better than all of us. He actually came third. We're just happy to finish. Never again.
It was fine up until the 13-mile mark. I kind of ran an hour 40, hit mile 17 and that hill, and just lost the energy and just saw the hill and thought, mother, hill, another one. It's just bog out there, so kind of the energy to catch yourself when you're running through it. I'm delighted. I lost 7 stone since the beginning of the year to run this. So
I was doing all right, and my hips are hurting. It's tough. So I don't know what time I did it in, but it's tough. But it's enjoyable.
First time? Or?
Yes, first time.
Okay, well done.
It's the longest I've ever run.
It's very good. Enjoyable course. A bit slippery, but I mean it gives us a challenge, doesn't it? I mean that's why we're looking for something with a challenge, and you know, Clarendon's got it written all over it, hasn't it?
I did the race last year, and I found it quite tough last year, and it was exactly the same this year. It is a lovely course, but it is a hard one. At 67, I'm very pleased to finish.
Oh, marshals are great. And flapjacks are to die for. Love flapjacks.
Oh, no. Small children handing you water.
And enthusiasm. No, it was nice. Really nice feel.
It's savage, but absolutely brilliant.
I thought it was really great. It was started raining about halfway through, but you know, it's a bit light drizzle, it's all right. Yeah. Quite refreshing actually. It was all right.
Yeah, we had a good time. We've just run 13 miles, and I've eaten 4 flapjacks, half banana, 2 bits of fruit bread, and some water. I've got my last piece of flapjack to keep me going.
It was wonderful. It's a good 25 minutes faster than I did it last year. And I think that's mainly down to the fact that I started running with a nice guy called Nick, who I met at about mile 6. And we just ran the whole way together, chatting the whole way through.
Really good, actually. Despite the weather, that's my 4th leg. So I've now done legs 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and completed my marathon after 3 years and 1 day.
It was messy, but it was a fabulous course. Really enjoyed that. Beautiful views, some real up and down, wasn't expecting that. Went down once in a big puddle, so I got some pretty muddy legs, you can't see, but fantastic run. Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing atmosphere. A lot of support, a lot of giggles from people who went to the drink stations, but yeah, lovely.
I love this race. I do it most years I can. A couple of years ago I did the double, I did it one way and then turned around and ran back. I got lost, as I'm always getting lost. It's so well organised. The marshals are great. It's really everywhere, every turn you go around there's a marshal there telling you where to go. It's just brilliant.
What I particularly like about this marathon is it's an opportunity both for Rotary to raise money to fund local charities, but also it's an opportunity for the local charities themselves to do some serious fundraising, which they do. And I don't think we ever really know quite how much is raised on the back of this event, but I know that for Rotary it produces a significant sum that we can then pump back into the various charities that we support, mostly local, some of them foreign, some of them international, really important life-changing activities that Rotary sponsors.
Well, my impression so far is a fantastic event. I was just saying earlier on that people are very quick to criticise events, but everything I've heard, organisation, route marshals, everything in place, we get lots of praise coming through fantastic. Well done.
It's been a brilliant day. Everybody's enjoyed it. We've been lucky with the weather, but everybody that's been involved has been really good, cooperative, encouraging the runners. The runners are delighted. We'll have a lot of people coming back again next year, and we need more. And it's, as a team effort for Rotary, it's something that I'm very, very proud of. Not just because it's Winchester, but because of the work with Salisbury as well. So it's a real cooperative organisation, and it has really worked well today. And I'm proud as punch about it. Fabulous day.
I have a complaint to the Clarendon organisers. I couldn't go down low enough on the year of birth to register. I had to go a couple years above.
We've loved this route. It's been perfect conditions, lots of muds, lots of climbs, and it's been really great. And we're looking forward to coming back to the 20th year next year.